Up next on Eyewitness News, a theft at a local religious school. An item worth thousands of dollars, yet priceless to its owner. And a mother and child die in a fire. 3 others jump from the building to escape the flames. The latest coming up.
This is the tri-state area's news leader, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. With Sarah Wallace, Marc Stevens with sports, Lee Goldberg with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
The Ark is empty at a yeshiva in Queens after someone steals a sacred Torah, the holiest object in the Jewish religion. Good evening, I'm Sarah Wallace. It is not possible to put a dollar amount on the value of this Torah. No amount of money could ever replace it. The mystery, why would someone take only it and nothing else in the Ark? DeDapper is live tonight in Kew Gardens Hills. JD?
Well, yeah, Sarah, the Yeshiva Kesser Torah here is a really unassuming place in Kew Gardens Hills. It is not the kind of place that you'd suspect had a valuable Torah, but this, again, as you mentioned, is not a Torah valuable in money as much as sentimentality and history, and no one here, from the rabbi all the way to the students, can believe what has happened. It had passed from father to son through 3 generations, a Torah used at the yeshiva by Rabbi Eliakim Rosenblatt, a Torah worth perhaps $20,000, now gone.
Thursday morning was the last time we used this Torah for services. We put it back, we locked it, and Saturday morning we came during the services. When we come to read the Torah, I opened it, and I looked in disbelief. It was just not there.
The Torah was stored in a cabinet behind the pulpit, padlocked shut, the key kept nearby, and known to the 70-plus members of the shul. But most striking about the theft, what was left behind.
In the Ark, we had 3 other Sifrei Torah. We had a silver crowns and a silver pointer. And all this was left untouched.
Does that lead you to believe that somebody must have known the value of this particular Torah?
I don't know what to say.
Since there were no signs of forced entry and there is little in the way of a black market for hot Torahs, detectives are looking into the possibility of an inside job, and the rabbi has had to remove the other Torahs to a secure place, a measure he says he shouldn't have to take in a place of Judaic worship and scholarship. And again, this is an unassuming yeshiva. They do not have the money to put up a reward. What the rabbi is hoping at this point is that whoever did take this Torah, even though they may realize how much it is worth, will realize as well that there is really no place to take it, and that because of the history, they will bring it back. We're live in Kew Gardens Hills tonight. DeDapper, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
JD, thank you. And police are investigating another anti-Semitic incident. Symbols of hate scrawled in a Jewish neighborhood. Early Saturday morning, someone drew swastikas on a home and a truck in Borough Park. Residents think there might be a connection to an incident the night before where 7 youths reportedly pulled a knife on an elderly Jewish man and called him anti-Semitic names. Well, tonight is the end of the long holiday weekend, but it might be drawn out for an awful lot of people because of the bad weather that has plagued our area all day. This evening, traffic was jammed at the George Washington Bridge toll plaza, but things are now back to normal there now. There were also long lines at LaGuardia Airport as passengers waited for their flights home. The weather is still having an effect on air travel. There are delays of nearly 2 hours at LaGuardia. Newark Airport has arrival delays of up to 3 hours, and there are 15-minute departure delays at JFK. The question, is the worst over from this storm? Well, Lee's been tracking it, and he joins us now. Lee?
Thank you, Sarah. We've actually seen very little rain over the past 4 hours or so, but this is a lull before the storm makes its last charge. So far, the bullseye has been over northwestern Jersey into the Catskills, into southwestern Connecticut, and this is the area where it's raining now. Rain will overspread the 5 boroughs within the half hour. AccuTrack shows the showers now coming back into view. Some light to moderate showers actually across northern New Jersey. This is all pushing west to east. There's also a heavy line of showers and storms. It's going to be moving through eastern Pennsylvania. That arrives here after midnight. Flood watch continues for northern New Jersey. Total rainfall 1 to 2 inches by the time we go into tomorrow morning. Could be some standing water for the morning commute. We'll look at those thunderstorms a little later on in the broadcast. Sarah?
All right. thanks, Lee. And we've got a breaking story at this hour. Police in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn are investigating the double murder of a 31-year-old woman and a 4-year-old boy. The child's grandmother reportedly found the two dead inside the apartment on Marcy Avenue. They had been stabbed several times. And a grim scene in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Smoke and fire raced through an apartment building early this morning, killing a mother and her young son and forcing others to jump to safety. Lara Spencer has that story.
As the bodies of a woman and baby were carried out of their burnt-out building, neighbors wept and wondered. There were 5 people who lived in that third-floor apartment where the fire started, and investigators had not yet said which ones had died. Among those residents was Juan Carlos's baby cousin and Julio Montero's 30-year-old wife.
Yeah, he's just worried because he just came out of work at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they just told him this right now, and he don't know where his wife is. That's why his nerves, he's all nervous.
The fire started at 1:30 in the morning and took less than a half hour to tear through 2 adjoining row houses. And while most residents were able to escape on foot, for a 27-year-old man and 2 24-year-old women, there just wasn't enough time.
Forget it. Flame just came up, devoured the whole house.
Javier Rosario tried to help one of those women as she jumped from the top floor of the burning building.
We were trying to make a fire kind of net to try to hold, so when she jumps, to hold her. But then when she jumped, she missed, she just jumped like panic, so we didn't get to catch her. She fell, she hit her head.
Investigators say the problem is all of these apartments share a common attic called a cock loft. Once flames get up there, they spread like wildfire, fast enough to injure 6 firefighters here. 2 of them had to be hospitalized.
Took off. Yeah, the men did a good job stopping it.
Before it killed others, and it easily could have. The 3 jumpers are in critical condition at the Cornell Medical Center burn unit, and more than a dozen people are now out in the cold, wondering what's left of their belongings and where home will be for the holidays. In Sunset Park section of Brooklyn, I'm Lara Spencer, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Investigators say the fire may have started in electrical wiring and does appear to be accidental. The largest cathedral in America, St. John the Divine, announced today it will erect a memorial to the victims of TWA Flight 800. One of the reverends said today that for the cathedral's congregation, the mystery surrounding the blast emphasizes mankind's reliance on a higher power. The monument will be dedicated next July 17th, which is the first anniversary of the explosion. It has been 16 years since AIDS was first discovered. Today, World's AIDS Day was marked in scores of events to raise awareness and hope. A candlelight vigil in the Village tonight protested the high price of AIDS drugs. All around the world, today was a day to remember the loss of life and to also look to the future. Bertha Coombs reports.
Across from City Hall, they are remembering those who have died of AIDS by name. It will take 24 hours to read them all. Activists hope City Hall is listening.
Hundreds of thousands of people have died and hundreds of thousands more are being affected, and simply cutting back on welfare and cash benefits is not going to be the way for people with HIV and AIDS to survive in this city.
At St. Mark's Church, dancers are performing throughout the day in the name of those whose bodies have been ravaged by the disease. There are the names of dancers, teachers, brothers, and sisters who have died on the list at City Hall. On a memorial tree at St. John the Divine Chapel, people left names too on cards, 4 friends and 1 for Mommy. Vilma Santini lost her husband 2 months ago to AIDS, but this day for her is not about mourning names.
I lost so many. It's like if I start naming them, I just know tomorrow to stop. So I remember them with hope.
Hope, says Vilma, that others will learn how to protect themselves through safer sex, or that they'll volunteer. In an effort to help those living with AIDS, volunteers from the Gay Men's Health Crisis will spend the holidays wrapping gifts for donations. It is a day, says Vilma, to remember those living as well as those who have died. On the Upper West Side, I'm Bertha Coombs, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Still ahead here on Eyewitness News, a legendary singer has died. We'll look back at the life of Tiny Tim. Also ahead, the townhouse where Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered has reportedly been sold. We'll have details. And the latest on the race for mayor is the city's former top cop ready to battle for the top slot. His career hit it big with one short little song played on a small ukulele. Almost 30 years after Tiny Tim first crooned "Tiptoe Through the Tulips," he has died after playing it one last time.
Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
The simple song from the late 20s became a hit for Tiny Tim in the 60s. Born Herbert Corey in New York City, Tiny Tim grew up listening to his parents' old records. A year after playing his Love Ditty on The Tonight Show, Tiny Tim got married on the show. 40 million viewers tuned in to watch. He brushed off critics who hated his act and his fame.
Well, they could have that perception. It don't matter what the public says. It matters what he says and what's in here.
Tiny Tim was enjoying a career revival of sorts when he had a heart attack at a ukulele festival in Massachusetts in September. He spent 11 days in the hospital, recovering from heart failure and complications from diabetes. On Saturday, Tiny Tim was at a benefit concert in his new hometown of Minneapolis when he cut short his signature tune and collapsed. His widow and third wife, Susan Corey, says he went hearing applause and had no regrets.
I had a great life, great wife, a great career, great parents, and Miss Sue here, and this has been a wonderful, wonderful moment.
Tiny Tim often fibbed about his age over the years. Recently, he claimed to be 64. The funeral for Tiny Tim will be held Wednesday in Minneapolis. The townhouse where Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were stabbed to death reportedly has a new owner tonight. The LA Times says a California attorney paid the asking price of nearly $600,000 and plans to do some landscaping to disguise the walkway where the bodies were found. The townhouse remains a popular tourist attraction. He says his mind's made up, but New York City's former police commissioner is not revealing yet if he'll run for mayor. But William Bratton does say that he will make his announcement very soon.
Well, I'm pretty certain the direction I'm going, just tying up some loose ends, and again, it'll be sometime this week. Won't delay it.
Since resigning last March, Bratton has hinted that he might take on his former boss. The mayor says he'd welcome Bratton to the race. If Bratton does decide to run, it would be as a Democrat. Well, the box office goes to the dogs this holiday weekend, and officers down south go in hot pursuit of an escapee near and dear to zookeepers. Those stories up next. And when can we expect to dry out? Lee has the exclusive AccuWeather details coming up. Spotted fever has hit the box office. Disney's 101 Dalmatians debuted at #1, setting a new record for a 5-day Thanksgiving opening. The movie led the pack with $46 million. That bumped Star Trek First Contact to second place with a little more than $25 million. Michael Jordan's screen debut, Space Jam, rounded out the top 3, soaring to just under $18 million. Was it a sighting signaling that Santa may be coming a little early? Authorities in San Antonio today went on hot pursuit of a deer on the run. The young deer, codenamed Rudolph, escaped from a petting zoo this morning. Security officers at the zoo couldn't keep up with the 4-legged fugitive as it darted onto a highway. But finally, more help arrived, and the animal was safely brought back to join Flasher, Dancer. Oh no, those guys are still at the North Pole.
He must have been late for work.
That's right. We got to get him back up there to the North Pole. Could you do something about that?
I don't know. He better go soon because our weather keeps getting worse.
I was going to say.
If this is representative of all of December, I'm a little bit nervous out there. But you know what? It's just rain for the time being. Although it is nasty, we're in a little bit of a lull. Things are changing. Let's head out to the numbers, and we'll see how temperatures are performing as we head through the 11 o'clock hour. It has warmed up. Temperatures have climbed a couple of notches. 60 may be within reach before we cool down by tomorrow morning. Humidity, of course, still high, and the pressure, of course, falling off rapidly, with still low pressure yet to make it to the tri-state area. Winds of 10 miles an hour, gusting to 26. Your high 56. This will probably climb a couple notches higher. Over to the AccuTrack. Now moderate showers moving back into the picture across northern New Jersey, from Peekskill back to Newton into the Newark area. A closer look shows Newark Airport getting ready again for more showers. Only more delays as people people wait there to finish up their Thanksgiving travel. All right, let's jump back to the radar across the Northeast. This picture is ominous as well. Big corridor of showers all day long, but this is what I'm concerned about now. A heavy line of showers and thunderstorms just exploding from central New York through central Pennsylvania. Here's the lull we're in now, but after midnight, it's fair game for these to come in, and that could drop yet another inch of rain. So, with areas susceptible like northern New Jersey, we could see more flooding across that area tonight. We're already an inch and a half has fallen. For most of us, it's going to be an inch to 2 inches by the wee hours of the morning. The rain will come to an end before the morning commute, but there's likely to still be some standing water, maybe a couple lingering showers. Well, finally, we can talk about this storm leaving tomorrow and take a look at the clouds again, because there is some clearing coming in, and this time from the southwest. That's good news, not from the cold Canadian direction. We actually will stay seasonable because the clearing will be coming from the mid-Atlantic. So for tomorrow, many sunny returns. We're going to bump that up to 50 degrees because of our higher temperatures this evening. Should be a pretty nice day tomorrow after the morning hours when we see that sunshine return. But between now and then, still another inch of rain to go. Tough travel if you're headed out at all tonight, but I think it's a little late for all of us. This holiday's been kind of a mess on both sides of the travel. Here's where the AccuWeather forecast goes. As we head through the remainder of this weekend, all that's left of it, 48 degrees, mostly cloudy, and there'll be a lingering shower by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then during the day, after early clouds and maybe a shower, we have the clearing process ensuing. Temperature should be right around 50 degrees. On the 5-day, we're seasonable for most of the week. Could be a flurry or sprinkle Tuesday or Wednesday. Seasonable and then increasing clouds again on Friday. One of our computers just came up just before the broadcast and said we could get a little snow shower on Friday. We'll have to keep our eye on that for now. It's a quiet midweek after a lousy weekend.
No, I'll say we need it. Thanks, Lee.
Okay.
Well, it was a classic case of the student beating the master at the Double Dutch Holiday Classic in Harlem today. A team of quick-footed jumpers from Japan won the annual Double Dutch tournament. They bested a team of 3-time champs from New York. Ironically, the New York team went to Japan 2 years ago to give lessons to the very same team that knocked them from the top, but they all look good. Well, unfortunately, the competition wasn't so stiff between the Jets and the Oilers. It was the same old Jets, just a different Sunday. And the Giants' fortunes weren't much better. Mark has all of the day's sports when we come back. But first, here are tonight's winning New York lottery numbers drawn earlier for you this evening. And for those of you holding New Jersey tickets, here are your winning numbers. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning made possible by your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Mark, now with sports, you know, maybe it was just the bad weather.
Yeah, that's what it was. It had nothing to do with the bad team. Why doesn't Mr. Hess just sell them? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the nearly 56,000 fans who paid but didn't show up for today's Jets game saw as much of Neil O'Donnell as the 21,000 soggy souls who did show. The quarterback, back for the first time in 6 weeks, didn't last through warm-ups. And the Jets' day against the Oilers went downhill from there. It was just atrocious at the Meadowlands, fit for ducks. Very few fans, but not $25 million quarterbacks. The shoulder healed, but O'Donnell pulled a calf muscle in warm-ups. Didn't play it down. Frank Reich re-inherited the QB job. Steve McNair is running the Oilers because Chris Chandler's hurt. He rose to the occasion. Late first quarter, Air McNair to Frank Sanders, who toasts the rookie Marcus Coleman for an 83-yard touchdown. It was already 14-0 for Richie the K. And his balloon will burst when Rich is ditched. Jets defense among the 56,000 no-shows. Last year's Heisman winner, Eddie George, 141 yards rushing, and this is first of 2 TDs, was 21-3 on a day where plastic would have held up better than paper. A little over a minute left in the half. Jets teased us. Reich, a floater for Keyshawn Johnson. 21-10 convinced this guy to stay through the intermission. He should have left. Late third. Reich gets the dropsies, the fumble, recovered by the Oilers. Next time the Jets had it, and this ain't no replay, but the result's the same. It ends 35-10. Kotite's now 1-12, and if Santa was dry enough to take notes, he saw the wish list. But I wonder if St. Nick takes off points for spelling.
It's just something that, you know, you get embarrassed by, and we just didn't meet the challenge.
You never expect to go 1-12 at any level of sports that you're playing. You know, it's just, like I said, this is a situation that we're put in right now, and you know, we got to just move forward from here. Got 3 games left. If we can just, you know, I don't know how you get up for the next one, but I'm going to try like hell.
I hope so. Weather wasn't any better in Philly, and neither were the Giants. Followed up that great Cowboy game with a flop. And why get completely waterlogged if you're going to snooze through it anyway? It was a regular fumble fest. Mark Say muffed that one. Down 10. The Giants had a chance to get back in it. But 2 plays later, Dave Brown gives it right back. Ray Farmer knocked it away, nearly turned into a Philly TD. Next time the Giants, Tyrone Wheatley, also very generous, gives the ball away too. That got a little crazy for a second. Still, the Eagles ended up with it, and a couple of plays later, Ty Detmer, his second of 3 first-half TD passes. That one to Irving Fryer, 24-0, and Eagle man was feeling proud. Well, the Giants were all wet. Dave Brown took a seat for most of the 4th quarter, and Danny Cannell didn't get any better treatment. This is a perfect pass for Howard Cross. Kind of sums up the day. 24-0 final. Losing is one thing. Getting soaked, that makes it even worse.
Time and you know, I never like coming out of games. I like to finish them. I like to finish what I started, and you know, it's frustrating in that respect to get taken out.
So who do they start next week at quarterback? The makings of a QB controversy, just what we need. Nothing controversial, but Dom Capers is doing with Carolina. They're doing it with defense, just as Trent Dilfer got drilled by Toy Cook, and Sean King brings it back for the Panther TV. Second year is 9-4. Also, the Pack beats the Bears. Boomer got grounded in Minnesota, and the Rams, they rout the Saints. Now tonight in San Diego, oh, those Chargers, they look like they got struck by lightning. It was really Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots that got him. Bledsoe throws 4 TD passes, although Terry Glenn deserves the credit for that one. Pats light up San Diego 45-7. Plus, at 12-1. Denver wraps up the AFC West. Indy wins in overtime. Raiders squished the Fish. The Ravens stopped the Steelers. And the Jaguars beat the Bengals 30-27. Now, when we come back, the rest of this Sunday in sports, the Dream has another nightmare, and it appears the Rangers have awakened from theirs. Rangers are a-rolling when Eyewitness News continues. Last 2 games of that Rangers road trip must have been for real, because they even won at home. Beat Montreal tonight for their first win in the Garden in a month, and goalies tend to be a little different. Jocelyn Thibault will tell you that after he finishes talking to himself. It was a score and slump, snapping night. Second period, Wayne Gretzky the shot. Thibault stopped that. Then Nicholas Sundstrom feeds Luc Robitaille for his first goal in 5 games. Felt like 5 weeks. 3-run Rangers. Third period, Patrick Flatley does all the work, gets it to Wayne Gretzky, who gets a lucky roll. He's entitled to those 2. Rangers make it 3 in a row. They win 6-2. Akeem Olajuwon is back in a Houston hospital tonight after he suffered an irregular heartbeat for the second time in 2 weeks. He looked fine last night. He scored 34 points, but afterwards told the trainer he felt a little funny. So he checked himself into the hospital this morning. Doctors say it's not life or career threatening, but they are keeping Akeem overnight for observation. Sweet revenge comes a year later for Kennedy High. They finally get back at Wagner, take the rematch in the PSAL High School Football Championships today. Kennedy got their instructions from the head man, Jerry Horowitz.
They can't score against us. I told you they won't be able to. They cannot score against us.
Well, not quite, Jerry. Wagner did score first because of big Malik Alukta. That's a mouthful, and what a load he is. 181 yards, 3 TDs for him, only to be outdone by Kennedy's big guy, Ruben Vargas. Huge game, 184 yards, pair of touchdowns, 27-22. Congratulations to Coach Horowitz and his Kennedy Knights, the PSAL champs. And the big money made for TV Skins game. Skinned the Tiger today, played great, but was shut out. Freddie Couples, no. $240,000 for that putt. He's the big winner, won $280 for the weekend. And finally, you couldn't do it that way again if I gave you a million tries. Great Alaska Shootout, after missing a half-court shot for $1 million, this free throw for the consolation prize off the top of the backboard and in. Rob Zeman of Anchorage, Alaska, won a Corvette by going off the top of the backboard and in, just like he practiced it. What's he going to do with a Corvette in Alaska? That'll do it in sports. I'm Marc Stevens. Did he call it? Just like he called it.
Couldn't they give him a pack of Huskies? That's going to do it for us. Thanks for being with us. Good night.